here is Newsmax's Rob Schmidt talking about Kanye West's appearance on InfoWars. Let's play this. In the meantime, get those other clips.
All right, an embarrassing and very bizarre interview today of Kanye West. It has everybody talking. West joined Alex Jones on InfoWars. The rapper was given an open platform to fully elaborate on his recent comments about Jewish people, and he decided to make some pretty horrible comments about the Nazis. Now, West did say that he loves all people in the interview. It should be known that he said that. He said he loves all people, including Jewish people. But then he started talking about his admiration for Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. Let's let you listen to some of that.
All right. Well, let's play that now.
So, I mean, we should. Is this the one where he? Okay, this is the one we should play. Yeah. So should we intro this or yeah?
Well, this is that clip. The Newsmax guy just introed it for us. Let's play it.
You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love.
What is this?
This is American History Act.
So can you pause it?
So I saw that too. Why was that added by InfoWars? The B-roll of the movie American History X?
Yeah, they added that. I don't know if it was just a way to cut away from this or something like and distract or I don't know.
It's like Nazi B-roll, frankly.
Yeah,
I don't understand it either, but it was just on the podcast.
A movie about how Nazis are bad.
Right.
Right.
Alex is like, yeah, this is good for my legal liability.
Oh my God.
I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love, us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician. You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good, and I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
You're not Hitler.
I mean,
there you go.
Sorry,
especially Hitler.
Especially Hitler. Fact check. Many Pinocchios here. It did not invent the highway, Hitler. Also, yes, the microphone that he's referring to, I believe, was invented in Germany at the time that Hitler was the leader of Germany. But that's like saying
but this is small bore stuff. I mean, let's for a moment.
It's like saying Bush invented Facebook because he's like the president when that came out.
But let's grant Kanye let's stipulate Hitler invented a microphone. And Hitler also came up with the idea of highways. Let's just assume, let's just for the sake of argument say that was the case.
Let's grant those Nazi myths, yeah.
That's it. Let's grant those Nazi myths. Is it really necessary to sort of like look on the bright side of someone who orchestrated the attempted genocide? Well, about 1/3 of world Jewry, maybe a little bit more, was murdered over the course of 4 or 5 years.
He loved dogs too, I hear.
Yes.
And painting.
Super cute while he was sleeping. All of that may be true. But is that really, look, this is, generally you don't use like these type of analogies to explain a dynamic because you don't want to equate like the Holocaust and Nazis as a sort of like an analogy. But this is also like, this is a good example. And we see so many right-wingers do this and so many people are trying to hide the ball where, you try and sort of like nuance this stuff. And that's what he's doing. He says like, every human has value. Well, that may be the case, but do you really need to point out that someone who killed 8 million people, like literally just, killed.
Those
we're not talking
humans
about a
had
war.
value.
Like 8 million people that they have value. Like, is that really the story there? Like how many years, let's put it this way. How many years would you have to dedicate to really like express like the damage this person does and the value that they give? Like how many years would you have to go through? Would you have to name every single person that person was responsible for killing? Would you have to name every one of those people and then maybe talk about their families? Would you have to name every one of them and talk about their families and talk about the circumstances in which they were killed? Or would you have to recount the pain and suffering that that they went through prior to being killed, running up to being killed? Like, to get to really present two ideas and have your form meet your function. Like, because when you say has there been even enough history and explication to everyone who's alive in the world today just how horrific what Hitler did? Is that enough to balance out somebody who's sitting on a platform with millions of people and who is a internationally known star saying like, but they also did some good?
I'm not convinced he believes the Holocaust happened.
Well, that may be the case, but I mean, because Kanye, who knows what's going through his mind? Right. He's out of his mind. But what I'm talking about now is everybody else around him. Let's play how Fox. Remember, Fox knew. Tucker Carlson knew.
Edited it out.
About his anti-Semitism and edited it out. And all of these people on Fox still, and they all knew. They all praised this guy.
The House Republican Twitter account tweeted out Kanye, only deleted it yesterday after Kanye made fun of Netanyahu. He's been on an anti-Semitic tirade for God knows how long.
8 weeks later, that tweet was up for 55 days.
And to be clear,
attack Netanyahu.
What these people were doing is knowing that he's an anti-Semite, knowing that he's also, mentally unstable. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive. Mm-hmm. Knowing all this, they decided we need to raise his profile. We need to raise his profile. It's not just that he raised his profile as, an international star. Everybody knew who he was. But we need to raise his profile as being a credible source of news analysis, of political ideology. That's what they're doing here. This is this is like, when Glenn Greenwald did, that promo interview for Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. And Matt Taibbi said, did you even watch it? No, he said Alex Jones doesn't need Glenn Greenwald to, promote him. Hmm? No. Alex Jones needed somebody to promote him in a different way. And that's what's happening here with the Fox News. Kanye, much bigger than Fox News in many respects. But what Fox News is, they're coming in, they're backfilling it, and they're shaping who he speaks to. And they all knew who he was. They all knew. It was in their cutting room floor. Certainly Tucker Carlson knew.
Certainly Candace Owens knew, who's been
of course.
Quite quiet.
Watch this.
I was blown away by Kanye West. I really was.
It was fascinating. This was an unvarnished, authentic.
We've rarely heard a man speak so honestly and so movingly about what he believes.
Kanye West is wise. He's unique, and certainly he's fearless.
He's a very important voice.
There's such authenticity to that it just makes me want to hear more.
Speaking truth to power, calling things out, and Kanye West does that. He speaks truth to power.
He is one smart guy.
Is Kanye trying to be a force for good? Absolutely.
Yeah, he is.
Very special intellectual renaissance. When you consider people like Tucker or Kanye.
Kanye's genius.
I'm going to make an analogy. Kunta Kinte and Roots. They got him out on a tree and they're whipping him. What's your name? And they want him to say left-wing liberal.
Kanye West refuses to live in that box.
You can't help but like him because he is not apologetic.
Yeah. Have I reached Alex Jones territory yet?
No, I think you're telling the truth.
Okay.
And that's okay if you do.
I think he's dead on this one.
I know for me, it just made me think, man, we could reach so many more people with this powerful movement that believes in freedom.
I know that what I'm listening to is unique and interesting.
If Kanye West believes it, imagine how many more people out there maybe aren't talking about it but would like to. Ye West threatening to go to war with Jewish people on Twitter.
He appears to imply Diddy, a fellow rapper, was controlled by the Jews on Instagram.
Yeah. That was, we should say, all that was just 2 months ago.
Yep.
Almost,
Within a 2-day span,
Less than 2 days.
October 7th to October 9th of this year.
Yeah, just less than 2 months ago. And understand, I mean, this is the normalization that is going on. And we watched this the other day with Steven Crowder. Right, Kanye's out there saying, I love Hitler, and Steven Crowder now is positioned, and this is what it means to give oxygen. This is what it means to sort of like provide oxygen for this. Kanye takes it out here, and Crowder can slide in, over here and say, well, it is a legitimate conversation to ask, about these secular humanists with Jewish last names.
And the contracts they put people in.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're doing here. That's what they're doing. They are, and that's what, Elon Musk is doing. And all those people are saying, like, by decrying, you're attacking free speech to say that we can't let hate speech run rampant on these platforms. I mean, and they're not just saying we can't, they're not just decrying the fact that people don't want hate speech on there. They're decrying society, not through a monopoly of force. Let's be clear. This is not jackbooted thugs coming in with the government behind them shutting this down. This is society saying we don't want this to propagate.
And that somebody who has immense fame and money, at least at this point, or so it seems, shouldn't be able to amplify hate speech to this degree, because like part of what is so troubling about, I think, this current climate that we're in is that he, based on the power that he has and like the fact that you have someone like Elon Musk saying he should be able to say what he wants almost up to an extent on Twitter, is that it's going to be amplified no matter what, even if it's the most vile anti-Semitic garbage possible. That more people are going to see it just because of his name, and that's why you have those like gremlins like Nick Fuentes joining him on these shows, is because they know that that's a shield for them.
Yep, and it's also a way
and
for
a
them
megaphone
to get exposure.
and
Yep,
a megaphone.
Both. Yep.
Do you want to see this Netanyahu thing or no?
Sure. Let's watch.
Insane.
Yeah.
So Kanye here just brings a prop to the Alex Jones show.
And this is the part that really got the right wingers upset.
Well, this is my theory, right?
Yeah.
Is because in the middle of our show yesterday, the Kanye tweet was deleted by House GOP after the House Republican Party had been getting flack for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to delete it.
After all that stuff we just watched about
After
on Fox
all
News.
that stuff, after he said he was going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews, after he has been, praising Hitler before
Tim
this,
Pool.
like constant anti-Semitism. But I'm convinced that it was this that caused them to retreat.
And just to put some further context, Yair Netanyahu, Bibi's son, tried to do what Crowder did in Elon's or in Kanye's replies, saying, "I know you think you have a problem with Jews, but actually you have a problem with those Hollywood Jews."
Right.
Right. But I mean, Kanye's like, no, it's all of them.
I was tired of picking up the Yahoo and the Netin, so for now he's just Netin. I know some people call him BB, no, some people call him Yahoo, but we're gonna call him Netin. What you want, Netin? Hey, yeah, right after this, I'm gonna say you're crazy. I'm gonna take your family away from you. We're not done with you yet. You cannot cause free thought. We have to control the history books. We have to control the banks, and we have to go and kill people. Also, we're in the pedophilia. So, and in a little while, hopefully you're going to take the mask off, because is this actually Ye here? I was tired of picking up.
All right. So just to be clear, what he's saying is that he's using he's taking like a Yahoo soda and also a net and Netanyahu, and he's not. I guess he's trying not to refer to Netanyahu specifically, but he's the character, the net puppet is saying we're going to take away your children, we're going to lock you up, we're going to take away your
Makes
freedoms,
sense.
your contracts, and all this.
Just like that Jewish doctor that told him to take his medication, that they're all part of the same
That was
conspiracy.
Benjamin Netanyahu. No, I'm joking.
It was Netan.
I mean, it is, it's been so clear for so long that the guy is emotionally unstable. And again, I'm not in any way, obviously. So there's a lot of people who are, go off their medication. There are a lot of people who have emotional issues and don't become raving anti-Semites.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear.
Like he is clearly ideologically a little bit Nazi too. You can look back and find a lot of little fixations and comments of his.
He's become also fixated on this hardcore Christianity, and I think that
the black Israeli.
That too, but he's also very religious and Christian, and he does these massive sermons, and that was part of that school he was trying to start. There's a Christian fundamentalism element to it as well that I think is not being discussed enough.
And his deal for Parler fell through after all this.
They canceled it, yeah.
I mean, but the point is that really the most despicable people are all the people who have been platforming him uncritically, all the people who have been praising him, all the people who have been using him as an example, starting with Candace Owens and shopping him around, and back, with Trump and slavery as an
was a
option
choice.
or choice, rather. I mean, at the end of the day, Kanye is going to be the scapegoat for all these people who were using Kanye. And I'm not saying Kanye is innocent. I want to make that absolutely clear.
Yes.
But they are using Kanye as, like Emma says, a shield and an amplifier as a tool to further this agenda. And, as they gain ground in being able to sort of normalize anti-Semitism and making that more socially acceptable, they're also gaining ground with transphobia. They're also ultimately gaining ground with racism. I mean, it doesn't end with the anti-Semitism, folks. It doesn't end with the racism begets the anti-Semitism. The transphobia begets the racism, begets the anti-Semitism. It all, they're in the same way that Crowder can take that space that Kanye has given him and say, it really is a question that we should be asking, a legitimate question about the secular humanists with the last names of Jews and the finance and the media. It works across all bigotry. That's the agenda here. When they start complaining about free speech is being curbed, this is what they're talking about. When the anti-woke stuff, the sequencing could not have gone the other way. You attack wokeism, which is really just attacking the idea that people who have been historically and traditionally marginalized having a slightly bigger say in how society runs or whether they are continually marginalized and attacked. You attack that first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start to sort of bring in all the goods that you have been in some way prohibited.
Yeah. The anti-woke stuff is, I'm not the first person to comment on this, but is just a way for the folks who previously would have been saying N-word or N-word lovers to get a foothold.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, the anti-wokeism is just sort of like the gas version, the gas version of the sort of liquid or solid of racism. And it really is just, the anti-wokeism is just saying I'm going up to the toll bridge and I'm taking out the gatekeeper. I don't really care so much about the gatekeeper as much as I care about going across the bridge and delivering my goods. That's what's going on there. Garrett from Denver. Does this Alex Jones interview prove that Kanye isn't an anti-masker? All right, folks, we have no more time for calls. I'm sorry. I tried. I did my best.
Yeah.
We'll do a, well, no, we won't, but maybe at one point. Hey, Matt, new Timba on Toast video about Kanye's Mania out now. Really good and poignant. Check it out.
Timba is one of the best
So
YouTube
good.
essayists, Timba on Toast, and I look forward to watching that. And also it's interesting, like you say, we'll talk about the Dave Rubin thing next week, but also like uses this kind of as a pro DeSantis thing. Is like, why is Trump letting those folks in? Barry Weiss also saying the former president of the United States hosted this person at his home for dinner, and Jeb Bush quote tweeting that and saying disgusting. So it looks like the anti-Trump stuff is going to.
That's the thing is like maybe who knows how this is going to shake out, but I feel like Trump's racism of saying Mexicans are rapists, like most Republican voters, they're cool with that. But now we're in Hitler was right territory.
And he lost an election to Joe Biden.
And there's this like, right. And he has the stink of a loser that more people are buying. And I think that there's like, even though there are a lot of anti-Semites in this country, there is also like, I feel like a nationalism element with the way people's American identity is tied into being the victors of World War II, where even like far right people, some of them, there is like a fuck the Nazis kind of thing, muscle memory for some of them that might make people like a little uncomfortable with this really dark path. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but
the interesting part, with the Barry Weiss comment about this is like, this is what the intellectual dark web always was. It just so happened to be at the time it was Islamophobia.
Yeah.
Right?
Kanye is not the first person to say these sorts of things that appeared on, say, Dave Rubin show. He's just the most high profile.
Exactly.
And most blatant.
Exactly.
Like most direct.
That's why Fuentes is like giddy when he brings out the net.